Greetings, family and friends. My name is Yamiko Silla. Welcome to my vlog. I'm out and about today. I've got quite a lot to do and quite a lot to cover. So I'm in a coffee shop. I think it's Starbucks, actually. Yes, I'm in Starbucks. And I'm trying to do some vlogging. So I've got the iPad quite close to me because that's where I record. And so you're going to be treated with a full sort of view of my face today. But anyway, I'm wearing this African print shirt, which I made for my son some years ago, but he didn't want it. So today I was rumbling about looking for something to wear, and I saw it, and I put it on. So here we are. Anyway, I'm trying to get the milk. I'm trying to get the milk into the tea. Put the milk into the tea. Nice to have some tea. Yeah, so there we go. My life is busy as always. Busy. Trying to sort out and work through a lot of things, The other day I had a doctor's appointment for some issues, which I hope I can get sorted soonish. Anyway, so I went to see the doctor, and there was somebody I was talking to, because obviously it's all very restricted, getting medical care now. You can only attend the surgery if you've been given an appointment and so on. Anyway, I mentioned to someone that I was from Sierra Leone, and this person said the first thing that they could think of was civil war that had happened in Sierra Leone some 25, 30 years ago. And the second one was that they'd seen a program on TV which was titled The Worst Place to Be Born, or The Worst Place to Be a Midwife, something like that. And of course Sierra Leone was one of those countries that was featured on this program. So I thought to myself, I just hope and pray that one day before my life ends, I will actually mention to a person that I'm from Sierra Leone and they don't have something negative to tell me. I really hope that it'll happen to me. Because if you're abroad out of Sierra Leone and you mention you're from Sierra Leone, somebody somewhere will always mention a civil war. Or they'll mention something not very nice that they've seen somewhere. And I'm thinking to myself, we have to do something to change the image of not just Sierra Leone but African countries. We have to be able to put out there the good news that's happening across the African continent, in various countries and communities, all the positive things that are going on. But I'm afraid the international press or audience or communities are more interested to hear about not so good things that are happening in African countries. It really is a problem. We really want to see more positive news and positive vibes and positive information and just general positivity come out of various African countries. Because when people talk about things, they start telling you about something that's not very nice, or some abuse. I mean, if I'm talking to a European person, I don't immediately mention, as soon as I meet them, that about the Second World War, do I? I don't. I don't mention about the terrorists that used to be in Northern Ireland or Ireland as a whole, the IRA and things like that, and bombing, and I don't talk about these things. If I were to meet an American person, I don't mention, Black Lives Matter sort of straight away. It might come up in conversation because actually that's universal, but I don't tell them that they caused the transatlantic slave trade, for example, or that, I don't talk about the Ku Klux Klan or all of the other horrible things that are going on there. I don't talk about all the abuses that are going on in Western Europe. I don't talk about Stephen Lawrence straight away if I were to bump into somebody and wanted to talk about the UK and wanted to talk about things that are not so nice. I don't talk about these things because I don't think that would be right. You start off talking to people and you talk about what's going on in their lives or immediate things and so on, but they can't tell you that they're from somewhere and you immediately start telling them that everyone there is, that you watched a program that said everyone who was born in the country, it's the worst place to be born, basically. I'm rambling on a bit, but the worst place to be born is where the person's just mentioned that she's come from. Hello? I mean, you just don't do stuff like that. I don't know where these people get off telling people about, oh, I watched a program and it said Sierra Leone was one of the worst places to be born. And look at me, I was born there. I'm not exactly hopping on one leg, am I? Bloody cheek. I mean, the fact that I'm standing in front of you and I've said to you, I was born in the place, must be some sort of indication that it can't be that bad. It's common sense, isn't it? You don't ask people stuff that's really not good in public. I think I've got something to go.
Are they the faraway bits though?
Not far away.
Yeah, it's the
I should have sat over there.
These ones, but they are a different color and it's a set. So, this one is for 50. That one is, how much money is that? How many what, sorry? How much money is that? 450. Oh, yeah. I thought it was 18. No, sorry, I just put them now because they are back in stock. So, yeah. Yeah, this one is like 16.95. Sorry, you can go now. Sorry.
So
Can I get my drink put in that?
that was my excuse me. So that was my little gripe for that day. Oh my word, I was so cross. I really was so cross about it. I mean, I didn't say anything when the woman was sort of saying all of this stuff. I didn't say anything, I listened and smiled politely, because the situation that I was in, it didn't warrant me sort of given a response that would have been deemed as negative. Do you know what I mean? There are some times in life you just have to be quiet, you know, just kind of take it on the chin and move on. Perhaps that's why I've come to YouTube to complain about it. It's a hard old world. You really have to be careful. You know, and just try and work things out as best as you can when you can. Otherwise, things could very easily escalate and turn into something that you don't want. Because I'm all about peace and quiet at the moment.
Small latte.
So the cheese almost gone cold, but it's not too bad. It's like lukewarm. By the time I put all the milk, I actually put all the milk into it. It's just skimmed milk. It wasn't so hot. It's a really rainy day today and quite dull. Yeah. But if you have to get things done, you have to get things done. There's no messing about or sitting down or whatever. No, but what do you think though, folks? I mean, tell me, what do you think? If you'd met somebody for the first time, would you be mentioning negative aspects about the place that the person said that they were from? Would you immediately, in a conversation, if somebody said, oh, I'm from Romania, I'm not going to talk about Dracula, am I? Is Dracula from Romania? Whoever it was, I don't know. It's just an example. I really do think that we've got a responsibility to put out more positive stories about the African continent and everywhere else where the African diaspora are residing, so that people know about our own people, what's going on, you know. Because people just imagine that when you say, I remember being in a group once, and this woman asked whether there were supermarkets in Africa. I don't think she meant the whole continent, because somebody was talking about, it was a missionary actually, and they lived in a certain African country. And they were talking about their experiences there. And this woman wanted to ask a question, put her hand up, and she asked, do you have supermarkets there? I'm not being funny. People literally think that we're swinging from tree to tree. I mean, I'd quite like to swing from tree to tree, because it means that you're very fit. Do you know what I mean? But the practicality of life means that you're not going to be able to swing from trees. But she was asking, people do think, yeah, that's how African people live. Like, we swing from tree to tree. We do bartering system for trading. You know, if you want something, you want to buy something and I have something, we just exchange. Like, for example, if I wanted a cup of tea and you had a banana, you'd give me your banana, or I'd give you my banana and you'd give me your cup of tea. Honestly, I think that's what people think. I think people literally think that's what we do. We live in huts. I mean, if you live in a hut, to be fair, it's very eco-friendly, sustainable, and it works really well. But we can't live in huts, not on mass anyway, because the world just doesn't work like that anymore. And African countries are no different. It's my own eyelashes, by the way, folks. I don't put any of those false things on my eyes anymore. Well, I did, like years ago I was going to a party and I put them on, but now I don't do stuff like that. Anyway, so if you lived in a hut, it would be eco-friendly and it would be sustainable because it'd be made of local materials and so on and so forth. And it's actually quite cool. In those mud huts, it's actually quite cool inside. So they're lovely to live in, and you could really, really just shape them and make them nice. And there are some really good examples of very nicely done and made mud huts that people live in, and they're very good for tourism and so on and so forth. But all of us cannot live like that. Do you know what I mean? Particularly like in the cities, in the towns and so on and so forth. So people literally feel that's how we live in African countries, that we just creep about, jumping from tree to tree, eating, I don't know, fruit and veg and grass and things like that. So, I mean, I'm laughing because it's just so funny. It's just so funny that people can think like that, but you'd be surprised. You really would be surprised just how many people think like that in the outside world. Yeah, I'm telling you. So it's something that we've got to think about. And there are quite a few people actually on YouTube who are promoting African life and African countries and people and so on and so forth. So I watch quite a few of them. There's a chap called Woodemeyer, there's Miss Trudy, people like that. They're young people and they're doing great things. So a girl called Vanessa Campbell, there's loads of them on YouTube and other places on social media that are pushing positive aspects of African life, which is what we all want, and I'm doing my bit as well. Anyway, I better go, folks. So,
Sorry, do you mind if
I've been here, coming up 20 minutes, drinking a cup of tea and vlogging. Thank you for listening to my chat today. Do please like, comment and subscribe. Thank you very much. Cheers. Oh, that's what I should have done in the first place. I should have moved it back a little. Anyway, cheers.